Yeah, you usually have the problem is noon for those kids. Jean is never coming back. Jean's gone. He's going to stay with his relatives. Things particular, you know. You feel down. But where's Ian? Where's the prayer request?
My son had an accident.
That was our prelude. Maria.
Well, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity of Bernie. We're going to start this morning. We're going to stand. We're going to sing something, Tom.
I think we should take a visit and a walk in the garden. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks as the sound of His voice is so sweet that birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me be falling, but He bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
All right. While you're sitting down, find somebody next to you and say, "You look fantastic."
Good walk.
Good.
What is it this month?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. All right, so I saw something about Jerry and Bob providing turkey.
Yes.
So there's a sign up on the back if you'd like to know what people are bringing and you don't want to bring the same thing. It's not necessary, but there is a sign up sheet up in the back. New book this morning. Marianne Williamson book, I think.
Yes.
All right, started this morning. Good time to join. You can join anytime, but now it's especially good.
And the title is A Gift of Change. They need to buy it if they.
A gift of change, $10, I think I heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week. All the other meetings and classes are all in order of service. You can find information on those. We're going to speedily go on here unless somebody knows something I don't.
I want to say something about the Edgar Casey group because it's this Friday.
All right.
We're watching a very long, it's an hour and 25-minute video, John Van Auken on angels, fairies, demons, and the elementals.
Yeah.
So we'll be
What time, 10?
Starts exactly at 10.
This
Very
Friday,
good.
Friday.
And where is it?
Here.
Right here, in this room, on that TV.
All right, anybody else? All right, let's let me consider the daily word.
Let me know.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers in churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. And the word for today is seasons. And the affirmation: throughout the seasons of life, my Christ light shines brightly. When winter follows the autumn harvest and the sun's light grows weaker, what may resemble barren land is actually a time of rest, a preparation for a new cycle of seasons. The sun's light and warmth change in ways that perfectly suit each season. My life, like the planet Earth, moves through seasons: the awakening of wonder in childhood, exciting and sometimes stormy growth during adolescence and early adulthood, the achievements of my middle years, and the fulfillment that maturity can bring. The Christ presence, the divine light within me, is my unfailing source of strength, understanding, and comfort in every season of life. The scripture comes from Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." And the affirmation again, if you'd like to say it with me. Throughout
the seasons of life, my Christ light shines brightly.
My name's Linda, and thank you all for joining us in leadership today.
Thank you.
I want to say one thing. We couldn't hear you through the speakers. We could hear you talking.
Yeah, I don't think that's on.
No.
Sounds like it's on, but I don't know.
Louder.
Wait a minute.
Maybe I won't.
Yeah, just turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Fix that. Good speaking. Oh, yeah. I turned it up, though.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're all going to stand here. We're going to do our celebration song, number 72.
No, Bubba. Let's open our eyes this morning that we may see. Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands a wonderful key that shall unlast and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes.
please be seated.
No.
No?
Not quite.
Oh, opening prayer.
You're playing jumping jack.
Unity of Ernie is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a safe space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Now, please be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. This is the time we come to in our service where we contemplate the facts of life from the highest possible view, as Emerson described prayer. The love that's in our hearts charges these emotions even more. And we know that love is the answer to everything. And everything is just filler for love. Well, as you contemplate what you need this morning, what you want to see happen, what you want to see someone be touched by divine providence or grace, I ask for you to go inside, center yourself, be a willing receptacle of the divine, moving all our limited human misunderstanding out of the way as we contemplate these facts from the highest point of view. In your bulletin, there is a slip of paper that is on it. It's a prayer request. And what we do is we gather them up during our service, and then we send them to Silent Unity where they're prayed for 30 days. But before that, I have a little term with them for a couple of days myself. It is my honor and privilege and joy to pray over your request. So as Sherry comes forward right now, if you need to write a prayer request, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll enter attitude of prayer. Thank you, Sherry. Gracious and loving presence, you know the desires of our hearts before we give voice to them. You know the things that are oppressing us, and the things that lift us up, and all those things in between. And right now we surrender the contents of our heart and soul to you to have your way with them. And we see that being done for those whom we hold in prayer. We see your perfect touch in a willing heart that will be transformed by the touch of grace. We're so thankful that we're able to turn to you, knowing that there is no idle request, nothing too small and nothing too large for your perfect will to be done. We need only to ask, believing, and we receive. We believe right now. We believe that it is done unto us as we believe and as we release. The experiences of our world right now can be heavy on our minds. We affirm divine understanding, the peace that passes all misunderstanding, that is active in the affairs and in the hearts of everyone concerned. We see a world that works. We are affirming this right now. And through your gentle touch, we receive it. And we declare in the deepest part of our being, it is so. Amen.
Well, this is an interesting day, isn't it? Everybody got their clocks set, right? I guess. Nobody drifted in here an hour early. I think so. Unless I saw that Jay's message today, of course, was about great expectations, and that's something that we all talk about all the time. Gotta be positive, gotta be there, think of it, be there, be in the thought, and that this is now the time we're seeing the seasons start to change. Even today we're seeing a little cooler temperatures, like November being announced. This morning in that daily word, Linda read, throughout the seasons of life, my Christ light shines brightly. And I just think that that is just so cool, because that's kind of what, where I was coming from this morning. And played this song for you all back around, I don't know, 2015 or something. So here you have a little song about God being at work in your life. And it's a sing-along, so when you get the hang of it, feel free to jump in there. God may be at work in my life today, giving me signs to show me the way. I see God at work in my life today, everywhere, every way, in my life today. God may be at work in my heart today, blessing me with love to share when I say, and I feel God at work in my heart today, shining love, shining light in my heart today. Come on now. God may be at work in my soul today, balancing my life in so many ways. I know God's at work in my soul today, flowing in, flowing through my soul today. God may be at work in my life today, giving me the signs to show me the way. And I see God at work in my life today, everywhere, every way, in my heart today, everywhere, every way, in my life today, flowing in, flowing through my soul today, shining love, shining light in my heart today. We're shining love, we're shining light from our hearts today. Because that's what you gave to me. That's what you gave to me before 2015, and I want to thank you.
Thank you.
So today happens to be Celebration Sunday. So birthdays, anniversaries, a healing of some kind, a divine idea.
Come on, Rick.
Oh boy, I'm gonna shut out.
Come on, Rick. You have to
Oh,
get up.
all right. Oh, Kimmy. Hey, Kimmy.
Yep.
I'll get up.
I get up.
Over here.
Great.
Everybody thinking about it?
Okay, my name is Esther. I am celebrating, first of all, I had a birthday in October, last month, October 11th. So then I'm celebrating also to be part of this beautiful community of very beautiful people, and I'm very honored, to have you as my support group in life. Anyway, and then I'm celebrating that we had a wonderful trip to Europe, and we are still here.
Yep.
Yeah, we are still kicking.
Yes.
So, yeah, and that's quite a, I think, phenomenon, that we still travel at age almost 95. So I'm very grateful that he's still here with us, and, hope he'll stay around for a little longer.
Thank you, dear.
Much longer.
Yeah, awesome. All right, young man. Your name.
My name is 85. Oh, sorry. Taylor.
That's all right.
And I am hanging around.
You are.
And I have been hanging around, although I was away the 3 months too, which we had a really wonderful visit. All the Schmidts are over there in Deutschland. We don't have any Schmidts, any of her Schmidts. Yeah, and all mine are in Canada. So when we travel, we're usually visiting relatives and friends, and that's always nice. But I'll tell you, the nicest thing is every Sunday coming with a little group like us, 20, 25, 30 people. It's just so neat. And I don't know any place else that I've ever been was anywhere near it. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rick.
Your name.
Joe,
What are you celebrating, Joe?
I had a birthday yesterday. Celebrating my wife's generosity. She really showed me a great day yesterday. So,
How many?
56.
All right. Your name.
My name is Chris.
That's what you're celebrating.
Today I am celebrating my grandson's band. They had a UIL competition, if you're familiar. That's the interscholastic league that everything in Texas, sports, fine arts, is under the rules by the UIL. And yesterday was the area competition. There were 26 schools that had made #1 outstanding ratings during the previous marching contest. So last night, my grandson's school was #1.
How fun, how fun. All right, Kimmy, you got this.
You pick the flower.
Your name. Kimmy, what are you celebrating?
What are you celebrating?
Today was my mom's birthday and I lost my tooth.
Oh my gosh! Oh boy, you know what happens with that? Are you still doing the pillow thing? You got Tooth Fairy coming to visit you?
Yep.
All right, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm going to take a celebration flower for Therese because she lost her dog of about 15 years. And I don't know why that one hits so hard, but it does. It hits me hard. For whatever reason. I bawled as much for my Labrador as I did for my mother. Which seems silly in a way, doesn't it? But
It does.
boy, it gets me. So anyway, next time you see her. Raise your hands, these fine people. Wave your fingers. Say, we honor your celebration. We're assured the best is yet to come. All right. Good job, Kimmy.
You're good. Girl, come on.
Here, yeah, maybe you did it too, huh?
Yeah, me,
I think I know. In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3, and I feel the same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely in the presence of I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Right now, we turn within to the place that I hope all of us knows well. If you don't, now's a good time. Do as Scripture says, be acquainted with this and be at peace. We know that when we do this, we take this time, insight, inspiration, new ideas, wonderful things happen. And we're going to do it in silence. But I would like to offer this affirmation as we go in to the calm, quiet center. I am a sinner in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word I speak, because it is of the truth and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and in my affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has the power, and right action is power, and power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. In this silence, we affirm the answers come, forgiveness is offered, and we are reading. Well, again, good morning. It's wonderful to be with you as always is. With apologies to Charles Dickens, I chose as the message title, Great Expectations, this morning. And I love that book because when I read it, it was rife, replete with all kinds of things about life, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs. It was a snapshot, this book, of what Pip went through and all the characters in that book of what we call the dramatis personae of life. And each one of us has something like that of our own. We are the hero in our own stories, or the heroine. We're the ones that refer to ourselves as the I. The trouble is, I don't think that we often realize what that I really means. When we say I, what do we mean? For example, I like to go back to philosophical basics. Is a tree made of wood, or is it wood? Is a mountain made of rock, or is it rock? And then the words we use to describe this are even twice removed from what the thing is we're trying to define. What I'm trying to say is, we come into this world not knowing what all of this is really about. We're taught by others who didn't know what it was about, and go back generation after generation. Sometimes it's very satisfying just to embrace a hand-me-down creed that was part of our family. As Eric Butterworth said in his wonderful book, humorously, many people say these words: I'm a Methodist born and a Methodist bred. When I'm gone, there'll be a Methodist dead. In other words, that's just me, and I don't want to take the time to think about any of these newfangled ideas. But the truth is, life is new every moment. And the labels that we put on ourselves are simply contrivances to make us feel better, or hopefully somebody who meets us, we can say we're in the same club. We belong to the same group. We want to be different, and yet we fear being different. It's an interesting thing, this thing about humans. We want to fit in, and yet many times we want to go our own way. We have all types of personality tests that tell us we're introverts, we're extroverts, we're ENFJs, INFPs, Enneagrams, the family systems therapy that has us take the test that tries to determine where we fit in. We fit in to the human experience, to the experience of human beings having, spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you look at it like that, it becomes a lot more interesting, because when we talk about great expectation, when I talk about that this morning, I'm talking about the tendency, not only psychologically, but spiritually, to get what we expect. And many times we get what we expect because we fail to inspect inside ourselves what it really means to get what we want. We hold an idea, we create vision boards, we do all kinds of what Lowell Fillmore called metaphysical gadgets in order to manipulate things out here. And there's nothing wrong with things. Believe me, I'm not being hypocritical when I say that. I know what it's like to have my identity stolen, and I know what it's like to wake up thinking you have some money in the bank and it's gone. That has happened in the past few months. I have nothing against that. It's just simply a way to keep track of what we're doing on this plane. But if our minds are submitted to this plane, if we are thinking we are actually what we do through keeping a bank balance or running a home or the job we have, if we think that's really us, we're doing ourselves a disservice. The reason is because you're much grander, you're much bigger than any title you'll ever assign to yourself. I'm sitting here looking at a number of people that are individualized beings of truth. God-ordained beings here for a purpose. What's the purpose? To come here, make a lot of money, acquire a lot of things. I'm not against possessions, and I'm certainly not against money. Don't hear me say that. But I want to pose a question to you today about, let's say, the Buddha's expectation. Do you think that when the Buddha was enlightened and awakened, the next thing he said is, I'm ready to manifest a Maserati? Or did it have something more to do with his mind internally? In other words, these things can come and go in our life, and they are just things. Matter molded into shapes for our convenience, whatever that may be. But amidst all that, amidst the hurly-burly of the world, we are spiritual beings. And the most important thing that we do is interact with other people. But we don't know sometimes how to interact with ourselves. When I talk about expecting the best, I don't just mean the kingdom of heaven, all the things that are added to you. I'm talking about right here, right now, in the midst of, not in place of, in the midst of. Because so many people use spirituality as this way to say, I don't want to be here, I want to be there, and if I just claim I'm there already. In one sense of the word, that's true, but another, there's such a thing as spiritual bypassing. You've got to deal with some things that got you where you are today. What do you expect from yourself? When you hear some truth, when you hear something new, and it falls on your ears and it perks you up, but then you realize I'm carrying around this sack of ideas called me. Do you have to divorce yourself from that? Do you have to give up all your memories? Do you have to become a new person in spirit, a new person in Christ Jesus? Yeah. You have to cease letting anything outside you define you. You have to come from the idea that you're perfect love already. There's nothing to get, you are. Let me say that again. There is nothing to get, you are. Before God was, I am. Well, if you take it from that point of view, and you expect from that point of view, then you released from your life many things that would hold you back, and many things that you would end up saying, I tried that spirituality stuff, it doesn't work. You know, I talk to some folks, you know, here and there, and they'll say, I've tried these new thought ideas, they don't work. For instance, I know one person that said, I've tried Course in Miracles, they don't work. I said, well, what did you not like about it? Was it the manual for teachers? Manual for teachers? No. Was the workbook? No. Well, I didn't read it. I leafed through it and I didn't like what I saw. I said, what about Science of Mind? Guys, that's too big. That textbook is too big. I don't know what he says. Everything is good, and I just know I don't agree with that for you. What happens is our egos are resistant against things that are going to actually help us grow. Isn't it funny? And yet, the very act of wanting to grow is already saying, I'm not enough. You are enough. Divorce yourself from that ego long enough to let your true self resonate with your heart. Allow yourself the ability to say, I don't know, and I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to find out. I'm willing to unwrap this package I've been called, well, by whatever name. I'm willing to walk into the void. I'm willing to go into that dark night of the soul to understand more of who and what I really am. Divorced from the concepts that this society talks about, that I've heard and when I grew up, whatever it may be that you're holding on to, whatever label or identity you're holding on to, do you realize you're much more than that? You're greater than that. You have a destiny that you are here to fulfill. And this time that you're here is a parenthesis in eternity. Otherwise, the mission before and the mission after doesn't mean anything. If you can't be awake, alert, alive, and receptive right now, then it really doesn't matter what's happened before or what's happened since. You're going to, as some spiritual traditions say, you're just going to keep coming back here over and over and over again until you get it. You can't short-circuit spiritual growth. You can't outrun your expectations. You can't be the person you really want to be until you realize what you were and what purpose it served to bring you where you are. Now, I'm not for holding on to the past. I'm for inspecting the past. Take a look at it with a critical eye and realize that now is the day of salvation. Now is the appointed time. Do you hear a theme coming? The power of now. Eckhart Tolle. We all talk about right now because it's the only time we live. Go get me a piece of the past. Or go get me some future. You can't do it. You can bring me things that represent that. And oh Lord, how I love nostalgia. I really do. But I know that it was now, then, as much as it is now. Now this isn't a clever play on words. This is what I conceive to be mental health. You know, M. Scott Peck said mental health is a dedication to reality at all costs. We give up our limited human understanding and ask for a greater understanding to come in and fill that void, because we know that nature as well as spirit abhors a vacuum, and that ideas, when you release some, you're going to get others. And what happens? The new ones are oftentimes colored by the old ideas you had. A new creation, a new creature, expecting to be new is really a scary proposition. Because you're giving up, it seems like, everything that defined you up until now. You may have been told things that were very comforting as a child that may not be true about you. You may have been told things that were very comforting as a child that aren't true about you. How do you know? Unless you inspect what you were told and see how that works today. Someone who says, or hears it said, you're not going to be very good in this, whatever it may be, because I wasn't. Parents are wonderful at doing this kind of thing. You're chip off the old block. You're just like me. I was never good at. I could never excel at. I didn't have the talent for. And because the parents didn't have it, they don't have it. Or so they think. We consult genetics for everything. Well, my parents had this and they had that. And I expect to get it at a certain age. To hell with that! Let that go. We're bound by the laws we create. Do you understand that you are literally what you believe? I want to really, this is so important. Do you realize I'm awake at night thinking about this? I know, whenever I never really doubted my call, but when I do, I think about what am I doing at 1 o'clock in the morning? And I was thinking about this very thing, that you are what you believe. I remember it was the late 1970s or early 80s, and I think I've told you that I did the thing that was so spiritual. I pour bourbon and water and listen to Ernest Holmes. I decided to give up drinking because of what I learned. Not because he was against anything, but because I began to make some decisions for myself. But during that time, through Dr. Holmes and Daily Word and the teachings of New Thought, I came to understand that I was a thought-evolved being. And there was nobody going to come rescue me. I was in charge of rescuing myself. I really didn't want anybody to come and, quote, save me. I felt a little anxious and insecure, as most 20-somethings feel when they first step out into the world. But I realized one thing had to be true. I had to be free to live my own life in my own way. And anybody that got in that way, regardless of what that was, I had to gently step aside from that. I expected that much to be different. But one thing that I learned throughout my study of truth is how many ideas that we claim to be ours, we accept as ours, that never had anything to do with us in the first place. Mother had a bad experience with somebody, and she's going to tell you, don't deal with these type of people because, or you don't want to get involved with that side of the family because, and tells you her experience, and then you wake up 20 years past, you don't know your relatives because you were told one story. Do you know that happened to me? I've gone 35 years without talking to one part of the family that was on my grandmother's side. I recently talked to one of them. I said, why haven't we talked all year? I don't know. It was they did their thing, you did your thing. The ideas, the concepts that we accept and believe, not only do they make strangers of us all, they make us fearful. They keep us up at night. Well, back to 1 o'clock in the morning. Thought of all beings and genetics and all these things about expectations. I realized that something much bigger, much grander was at play in my life when I was ready to release the idea that any human-made law, now please don't misunderstand about the laws of traffic and things like that, criminal law, but any human-made law that was made by another human about what my body was supposed to function like or what I was supposed to feel, whatever it may be, is false as far as I'm concerned if I don't accept it. You know, we age greatly by looking at each other. We're doing it because everybody else is doing it. We say, well, you know, you're 70 years old, what do you expect? 75, what do you expect? What do you expect? Haven't you seen some people that are 75, 80, and even beyond living the abundant, wonderful life because they know they are what they believe? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I want to go back to what I was talking about at 1 o'clock in the morning on this belief thing. She was 38 years old. She was working as a copyright editor at Kahn's department store in San Francisco. She said by her own admission she wasn't very pretty, and she had a very neurotic husband. And the husband was very controlling. He couldn't hold a job. They had 5 children, and she was wondering, what's next? Now here's how providence works. She was sitting in the office of her manager at the manager's desk, and there was a bookshelf right above her. And she looked up and saw the title of a copy of The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. She took it down and began to read it. She decided that she wanted to make notes in it. She didn't want to do that in somebody else's book. So she called downstairs to the bookstore, the department store, asked if they had a copy. They did. She bought it. She started taking notes and underlining, etc. She began to realize that she became what she thought about. That woman was Phyllis Diller. She died at 95 years old saying, the magic of believing was the greatest thing I ever found. And I wrestled with telling you the rest of the story up till last night. Before I knew about her story, when I read Claude Bristol's Magic of Believing, the 3 things that I knew about expectations, what he had to say about expectations were, you get the index cards and you write down your goals. You stand in front of a mirror and you repeat certain things over and over and over again, literally rewiring your subconscious. Use the mirror technique, the cards, and visualizing a cape around yourself where the negativity of others cannot get through to you. It's invisible. And the things that they say that hurt, bounce off you. Things that are limited, bounce off you. It's a whole new way of living and being. It's talked about right here. It's Science of Mind textbook. There's about 600 pages of it. Magic of Believing is like cliff notes on it. I loved it, and I wanted to have more of it. Miss Diller wanted to have more of it. If I get anything over you this morning, it is that you are in charge of you. Your expectations follow your self-concept. Your self-concept follows what you've been told and what you believe. And what you've been told and what you believe is a choice you've made, whether you know it or not. It's one thing leading to another to another. Nobody wakes up at 25 years old and wakes at the top of their craft. There are certain steps that you have to take to get there. And nobody wakes up at 25 years old in the gutter. There were gutter thoughts that preceded that. James Allen, as a man thinketh, says, we don't arrive at the almshouse or being rich by just chance. There was a series of things and thoughts that went into being where you are. You got what you expected. And there's another little thing about this. When you expect certain things, you look for things that tend to cement your point of view. So it's kind of like, be careful the rut of thought you choose, because you're going to be in it for a long time, and on the way you're going to look for everything that agrees with that concept and that idea. We don't, you know what humans hate to be is wrong. More than, and I'm pretty good at it because I'm a husband. I think I've gotten better over the years, because I know, say, a wise man once told his wife nothing, because he is a wise man. There's some piece of information that you need to learn and keep on hand, if you're me anyway. But the thing I really want to get across to you is this idea of deciding for yourself. Deciding not about your limitations, not what you hear on the TV. In 2 days, we're about to elect a new president. There are people who just, they're driving themselves nuts about it. They're pulling their hair out on both sides. And the thing is, what needs to happen will happen. Because we're all in this together. We all make decisions together, whether it seems like we're apart or not. We all pretty much want the same thing. And if the ship doesn't right itself here, it will there. I believe in the goodness and the power of where we're going. There are a lot of things that we have to endure that are useless in this experience, it seems like. But are they really? Every single thing that you see, and especially that you believe, can tell you something about yourself. Am I really what I think about? I mean, I can say that in Unity. I can say that in Science of Mind Church. I can even say that in certain liberal Protestant churches. But am I really what I... Am I the product of everything I've thought up till now? You bet you are. That's the agony and the ecstasy. That's the thing that keeps some people awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because they realize they've sold themselves short. Because they realize that relationships and all the things that were important, like the side of the family that I didn't get to talk to because we just didn't do that, I wasted 35 years. Because I believed somebody else. Because I didn't go find it out for myself. Because I didn't want to rock the boat, whatever that means. Rock it. Stand up and live your best life. It means sometimes going into places that aren't fun. Who was it? I know Janet asked me, hearing a noise when I was just asleep to the world. She heard something. You think I wanted to get up and walk into that dark place and go look at what it was? I didn't even know what I was going to find.
Neither do I.
But I got up and I walked and I looked to find out what she was talking about. And all it was a limb hitting the house. We don't want to be, I've said it before, we want to be transformed, but we don't want to be inconvenienced. And sometimes it's going to take inconvenience. It's going to take looking at all those things you've thought about yourself for so long that seem so true, and oh, they're so right, and oh, I have such a story about them, and oh, I've talked about it for so long, and I can't admit I'm wrong, because without that, what do I expect to be? Expect to be brand new. Something brand new. You can be. It's up to you. And along that line, what I'd like to close with is the idea of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who wrote this book, It's Up to You. We read things through filters. We see things through filters. The things that make things we think make sense to us, makes it comfortable for us. We don't, as I said, we don't want to be hassled. But in this book, it's up to you. Dr. Holmes talked about, not these words, but growth is a hassle. Look at a chicken coming out of an egg. Look at it. There's a butterfly that I know about. I haven't seen it. But they said when you see this cocoon begin to break, don't help it. It's going to look like it's struggling. Don't help it along. You know why? Because if you do, it quits trying. It's got to struggle for itself. Certain things are only for you to answer. And who you are is more important than a butterfly in a cocoon. That may be an interesting story, but think about it. The help that you need, you get straight from truth. Because anything else out there, although well-intentioned, can be colored with what their experience was. And you buy somebody else's limitations and then call them your own. Stand for yourself and expect the best. I know this. Those who tend to expect the best are very seldom disappointed because they make the best of the way things turn out to be. I see a marvelous bunch of lights this morning that are going to do just that. I'm with you on your way. You're greater than anything you've thought and anything that's ever happened to you. And I send you peace and love this week and always. Amen. Now Javier is going to come forward, take our offering. As you know, we depend on your wonderful, wonderful charitable gifts for our work to continue. I ask that you give the best gift, and for this month, or actually October's over with, but you can still put 10% more in if you have a mind to. I did that during October, and I hope you do, because what we're doing here is so important. And those of you who are watching at home right now, or wherever you may be, I ask you to send the best gift of which you're able. Press the PayPal button, or you can send it to Unity of Bertie, P.O. Box 1973, Bertie, Texas, 78006. It'd be so appreciated. And I know you watch, and I know what you say about us. As I say, I wish you could see us all here. It's a wonderful, wonderful group of loving people. So give the best gift you're able, and come if you're able. You're welcome. And now we say our offertory. Divine love,
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
thank you. With all the love in your heart, with all the gratitude of which you could muster, I ask you to repeat our prayer for increase. Divine love,
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
so it is.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine.
Together we stand and join hands and we feel comfortable doing so.
I know, like Marlon is still battling sinusitis. They know, Zach's had it all his life. It's just, Marlon has solutions. We think it is, but our allergies show up. See, we went to an allergist and it's mild, and it was and so, like I said, I think there's something else going on, and it's hereditary, which really sounds weird, although Zach's not, when he was 20, I think he was,
And so they have another Sunday experience as we call it here, and we really want to thank you personally for spending time with us today. Thank you so very much. You know, it's always with you.
that's how we feel. And that's how we are with each other. You walk in that door, sitting out there, you get treated well, you get treated well. Even the puppy dogs come in to greet the folks. We're just pleasant. To hang out and be pleasant with other people. Why not let us be that way? Come on by and spend Sunday with us, get to know us. Oh my goodness, we got a very anxious little puppy dog in church today. With a loving So, until next week, take the words in, see how this feels, see if there's room for you. Until next week, have a most fulfilling